Hi guys, welcome back to Silver Lining with Shreya. Today we have Aarti, founder of Let's Find Your Beyond with us. And this is going to be a very fun episode. Welcome Aarti to Silver Lining with Shreya.
Hi Shreya, hi Shreya. First of all, thank you so much for having me. And I'm actually very excited about the whole podcast and the whole thing because the way we met and the way this relationship between us is turning into like this. It was something very unexpected. Like 2020, it was very unexpected. So yeah, thank you so much for having me here, and I hope you're doing fine.
Before we begin, I want our listeners to know how we met. It's a very fun story. Aarti, can you tell how we ended up
It's
together?
very embarrassing and very funny
It's
actually.
not
So,
embarrassing at
like
all.
now that I look back, I was like, oh my god, I was such a desperate. Now that I look back, but I think you have to take a step ahead in order to to not make yourself feel lonely, and already 2020 was not as expected. And let me tell you, I am an extrovert. So for me, so I got married this year. COVID happened this year. I was in a new city altogether, coming from Jaipur to Bhopal this year. For the first time, I would have not seen my husband for like close to 10 months. So everything was happening for me for the first time, and then I became a life coach. I started talking to millennials. So many different things were happening, but I so desperately wanted to ground myself in that space because Bhopal was not making me feel friendly in the terms of friends. I mean, I have a great family, but I could not, I'm like I said, I'm an extrovert. I was so used to going out. I was so used to chilling with my friends. I had all kinds of friends: school friends, college friends, office one, office two, then 30 friends, and that friend, and those friends. Then I had Toastmasters, and then they were coaching friends. But then I did not have anybody in real to meet in Bhopal. So I was just searching that, places to go in Bhopal or something like that, must go things. And I found you on Quora, and then I think somebody texted, or I think your bio said that you constantly write on Quora. So I just searched your name on Instagram randomly, and I don't know, I scrolled through your pictures, and I felt a little acquainted, and I was like, yeah, maybe that girl doesn't have a lot of ego, maybe she will reply, or let's just give it a try. What worse can happen? She will not see my message or she won't reply. So I just texted, and I couldn't believe you also texted me back within a day. And I was like, is she really being sure? And I think in the first few lines only, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I texted you, right? Like, let's meet. And the day we met, you told me about how you were feeling that I won't be the person I was, or I don't know. So yeah, that's the story. And I just texted you, just texted me back, and we met. I think, I don't remember the place we met, but it was a pretty cool place considering what impression I had of Bhopal. So yeah.
And you won't believe I was actually discussing it with my mom, during that time that after moving back from Bangalore to Bhopal, I left all my social relationships. None of my friends were in Bhopal, and those were in Bhopal, they were pretty busy. So I was kind of feeling very lonely, even though you have your family, but you need to have your own tribe. You need to have friends. Friends are so important.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
saw your message, and I was really, really happy because I knew what you were going through. And after checking your profile, I mean, then I believe that okay, it's a genuine person, and she has genuine interest in meeting me. So it was such a great initiative that you took, and I'm glad that we met and we cultivated this lovely friendship that we are sharing right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I remember you telling me that you were discussing with your sister that she would turn out to be a he maybe. Or I don't know who is going to come there, and you were so anxious about the whole thing. But then I'm glad that you were happy and that happened. So yeah, thank you so much for accepting my message request.
It
And
was a
now that you're here.
pleasure. Yeah, my friend, I mean, my sister was not sure. She's like, "Are you sure she's not a guy?" Like, no, she is a girl and she really wants to, like, she sounds just like me, so there's no harm. And because of COVID, I think internet has given us a safe space, even though there is too much negativity out there. But if you go out and find people like you, there are a lot of people who are going through and dealing with the same things that you are going through.
Yeah, there's like an unconventional connect you have with your kind of people, like the people you want to call your tribe, even though you are like ages apart and different. But somehow, 2020, the good side, the silver lining is that we've connected through the virtual world.
Yes, and I think this was a serendipity, and it was a very unusual and great surprise. And just like this meetup, like how me and Aarti met, there are so many amazing things that have happened, right? So Aarti, will you guide us through them, like the silver lining of 2020?
Yeah, okay. I feel very sad and disappointed when I see people posting on Instagram, on social media, that another thing or another shock in 2020, and then people are like, this year is the worst. But honestly speaking, yes, I am sad and I'm worried about the deaths that have happened and the impact of COVID. But on the majority of the population of this world, I think a lot of us got so many amazing things to learn, which we would never accept in reality. So when I go back and when I look at 2020, I think the first important thing that comes to my mind, I got a lot of me time. Like I said, I was an extrovert. I was almost out on all the weekends that I got, and I was working on weekdays. So, I did not have that time with myself. I always was the person who wanted to do meditation, and I knew that, meditation is a thing that's going to bring a very positive change in me, but I could not continue. I was always a person who wanted to do yoga. I was always a person who wanted to do journaling and maybe write something. So like each of these things I was able to do, and at my own pace without any timeline, because already everything was so uncertain about. I think the only thing that was certain is that your own me time, and how do you want your day to progress. So I think one of the best things about 2020 was this, that we got attached to ourselves, which is something that I really hope people continue to do in the coming years as well. I remember 2019 was flooded with internet on things like meditation, and there was like Zen mode and stuff like that. Finally, 2020 was the year when people practiced it more than talking, like the action happened. So yeah, this is like one of the biggest thing I think was the good things about 2020. Also, we got to connect with our family. Don't you think? Like, if you wouldn't have got a chance to stay in Bhopal, would you stay this long? I'm sure there were days that you will feel that Bangalore was more chill, and I had clubs, I had friends. But don't you think that those special conversations and those simple and special conversations with your mom over chai, or you just wake up and sit, those are like the most precious thing. So I think I enjoyed a lot of family time.
Wow, you have
So
beautifully explained it. And trust me, if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have come back home and stayed for so long. This is the first time when I have lived in my own home for after so many years. So that was indeed a great opportunity. Wow. These are actually precious
yeah,
moments. And if you look at life, sometimes you don't even remember that few days back you were 10 years old, and suddenly people are getting married, and you are starting a new
I know, I
journey.
know.
Everything is happening in a jiffy. And I would
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to
yeah.
ask you one more thing. Like, you are so positive and you are looking at this year with a different perspective. Even after, being away from your newly married, newly husband after for so long. How do you manage that? And what do you have to say about that?
Honestly, I freaked out. I freaked out real bad. And yeah, but there was something that was holding me up. One, I should say that, we had been in long distance from a very long time. I think it was our sixth year. But I think more than 4 or maximum 5 months is what we have not seen each other. And this time it was like more than 10 months. Okay, so this was like way, way different. Also, like I said, for me, the bigger, if I would have been in Jaipur, which was my hometown, my whole family is there, it would have been easier for me. But since I moved to Bhopal, it became difficult. New people, new surrounding. I had a habit of going out. Then COVID was there, everything. So I was facing so many changes within myself that I was constantly, whenever I used to miss my husband the most, I used to, and I got the opportunity to call him because he is normally is not very free because he's in defense. But whenever I got the chance and I was able to connect with him, I used to, because I'm missing him, but I used to blame him that all the changes are happening with me. I have to change my city. I am facing this, and he being on the border, he could not even feel that what is COVID. Like we knew there was a lockdown, there was people were not going out, masks were so necessary. He was not feeling a single thing. So for me to connect with him at that level became impossible. So I just found out ways in which I can maybe help myself. And like I said, I wrote a lot, and I also wrote a piece on long distance relationship. But the crux of it is, I think if anybody would have to survive a long distance relationship, considering you love someone, it's just you need to keep yourself busy. That's it. That's it. That's the key. Because when you don't keep yourself busy, you think about all the other things, and there are so many couples outside who are showering love to each other on Instagram every single time, and then you go out and there are people holding hands and all that stuff is happening, and you're like, where am I? What am I doing? And I am married also now. Now, so everything is legal. Why am I why am I facing so much trouble? So yeah, but yeah, but I was mature enough to handle it, and my in-laws were like sweetheart to me. They also, like, being locked down, I also got a chance to travel a bit to Jaipur for festivals, Rakhi, and all that. So I think that kept me moving. And then I was doing a new course. I was a new coach that time. I had a lot of clients to engage to. So whenever I felt like, I'm just losing it up, I just start writing that book, which I was writing on how to survive long distance relationships. And that actually gave me a kick. If I'm writing this thing, then I should be able to do it. So yeah, somehow it happened. And yeah, I also felt, except like my kind of relationship where I could not connect a lot, there were people who actually got time for themselves more. By themselves, I mean as couple, because maybe less work, or maybe more time in the night, or maybe less when you're not going out, or when you don't have meetings where you have to dress up, you save a lot of time. So people actually connected at a very good level in this lockdown. But I think the dating part got very, very horrible. People who were trying to date new people, it did not really work out, because one, you were not sure if you can meet someone. Second, let alone hugging, you can't even feel like touching the person because it's COVID. So let's just talk about your dating life and how 2020 happened for you.
I think that's a very sad topic to talk about. But
Right?
dating, I don't know. I didn't go out on any date in 2020. I was looking forward to it. I thought I would meet new people. I would get a chance to interact with some like minded people and eventually, get into some kind of relationship or whatever.
I have a very close friend. He was actually, he was like, what do I do? This was the year I was supposed to find a girl. 2 years later, I was supposed to get married, and all that planning, which Rachel did in Friends. He had all the plans, and everything was like, oh my God, nothing is happening as it was supposed to happen. So yeah, it was weird. I wouldn't say difficult, or it was an uncertain year. Yeah. Yeah. like I was, talking about, we got to spend more time with family. I think one of the greater things that happened was also living those small little moments, which which we as adults, as millennials and Gen Z, we forgot. And all that happened because of our routine office life, that 9 to 5 thing, or maybe because we're so much tech savvy that we don't have time out of our laptops these days. But I saw myself and my family engaging in such crazy games during the lockdown, especially April and May. The entire family, even people sitting in Mumbai and everywhere, we had a WhatsApp group in which we used to play housey, tambola. We used to play that, and it was like a fixed thing at 2 p.m. That used to happen on a daily basis, and then there were different kind, and people were connecting. We were every night. I played Ludo with my friends who were in 4 different cities. So you actually got to enjoy all those little things which you just think, like it's like this is too old for me. Who plays Ludo, or who plays Tambola? But I saw myself imagine enjoying all that. And the day it stopped, it there was no sadness because finally the lockdown was over, people were moving out. But there was a sudden void which I felt, when the lockdown ended and we had to actually go out and maybe meet someone, or something. Being an extrovert, I felt a little resistance. I was happy at home, that it was like the joy of missing out, not being outside. I am somebody who had FOMO. So I actually, when somebody was like, let's catch up over coffee, or I'll pick you, let's go for a drive in the month of July. I think I was like, is it necessary? Can I come in my pajamas and can you come to my place? We can chill and all. So we actually started enjoying the little things, spending time at home, being with the family, playing games, and all that at a very simple level. So I think these are all the things which we as people, as part of the family, we should actually keep something like this for our future years. Like we now we have Sunday tambola every weekend, and it's like the most cool thing, and we have a dress theme and all that, and we come online on Zoom and we play it. So we are actually continuing it. The audience is decreasing, but it's still fun. So yeah, so I think this is one of the things which I would like to touch upon, how enjoying little things and spending time with family gave me a lot of joy, and I'm sure a lot of people in 2020.
That's a wonderful, wonderful way to invest your time in and getting to know your friends more, family more. I think for me, we watched a lot of movies and we spent a lot of time watching new web series. It was fun. Sometimes we would stay up till 3 a.m. and finish the last episode and, wait for the next morning so after work we could watch it together. So it was fun. You mentioned something about FOMO. So can you explain what is FOMO for people who are not aware with the term?
Yeah, so FOMO stands for fear of missing out. I also mentioned JOMO, which is like the new thing, which is like the joy of missing out. So I think people who have a tendency to know everything what is happening in the surrounding, what which friend is feeling, and you have to be at all the places. And if suddenly you're not invited for something, or something comes up, you have to cancel that. Then you have that fear that, oh my god, people will connect with each other more, and you would be the person missing out the whole drama or the whole thing. So earlier this was this with me, and I'm sure this is with almost all the extroverts and people who are actually looking for happiness outside their own home, and like inner happiness is not yet discovered by them. But now, like I told you, this year I was able to develop my meditation habits. I was able to develop. I did a lot of journaling, lot of self reflection, and that actually, I have an understanding about myself in such a depth, and still I feel that I don't know even 1% of it, honestly. But the joy of knowing that, okay, maybe in the past I felt this because of that emotion which I have hidden in me. You know, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay if I felt bad. It's okay. It's okay if I wasn't invited. I'm more happy maybe, having soup with my mom in the house. Or yeah. So I think that FOMO changed into JOMO. Like I said, I really feel nervous and weird. Not nervous. I feel very like it's such a task for me to dress up and now go out. So with me being in the mountains right now, I'm so happy. I'm getting again. I'm like it's like COVID all over for me. I'm getting a lot of me time, and I'm in actually very very joyful. My mornings are amazing. My evenings are amazing, and yeah, finally my long distance marriage has also ended for some time. So it's kind of a very good win-win deal for me right now. So yeah. So and I think I also read on internet there are people who are actually enjoying Jomo. They are loving if you see none of the clubs or maybe pubs or cafes, not many of them are open now because people have moved into house parties. Okay, so because people are enjoying their own comfort space more, and more than that, there is a lot of awareness of wellness and health and all this mindfulness today in this world that people are enjoying their own world. I think somebody quoted this to me that there are only two worlds, like there are two kinds of worlds which we can experience completely. So you can experience only one of them, either the inside world or the outside world. If you plan on finding out what's happening inside and outside at the same time, it's impossible. So I think this is the time when all of us are actually diving into our insides and learning about ourselves, which is giving a lot of joy.
That's a very beautiful point. I never thought about it. Like you can't spend too much time worrying about the outside chaos and focusing on yourself at the same time. How can a person go from FOMO to JOMO? What do they need to do to get into that journey?
I think first of all you need to understand that you are your best friend. Okay, and like I said, there were a lot of uncertainties in this world, but you know what? There was the only thing that was certain, and that was in control. As humans, we like to that uncertainty. We like to know the taste of the food that we are going to eat on a daily basis because that gives us a certain kind of a certain kind of peace. And like I stress a lot about on the power of static life, which basically means that I that we should we are all experiencing different things, right? We are all experiencing uncertainties. Nobody thought of some virus like COVID. N- Even if I forget 2020, there were so many things happening otherwise as well. There are climatic changes, and there are sudden criminal cases happening, and these are all the things which gives us a certain kind of uncertainty, and it creates a certain kind of like you're not comfortable, you are just not at peace with yourself. But if we actually understand and if we actually try to cultivate habits which are in our control, it can be as small as waking up at a particular time. It can be as small as I don't know, maybe taking bath for this many time, or it can be as small as eating food at like whatever food you want to eat. If you can control these, and yes, we can only control things that are just in our control. Like by this I mean which are just affected by our decisions. So let's say if I want to go out with my friend and you are just two of them, then that's also not in your control, even if you have made the plan and the friend agreed, because at any point the friend can say no, or maybe lockdown can happen, or anything can happen that might change the plan. But what are the things that are you sure of in your life? If you start doing those things on a consistent with the persistence in you, like I say, daily habits, it's such an important thing, because now that once I've changed my state again, and I'm actually doing the same things from last more than 12 days, and I have a pattern. I have a pattern which I'm very which is making me a lot of uh, comfort, which is giving me a lot of comfort, which is making me a lot of peaceful. There's a lot of peacefulness that's happening, and but there are things also which are uncertain. Like, I don't know who is going to come and meet me today. I don't know that if my dress is perfect, considering I have to go out somewhere. But these things are fine. So I think you can convert fear of missing out into joy of missing out by actually developing things that actually bring joy to you. If journaling brings joy to you, if binging a Netflix series bring joy to you, and if doing anything which you can control on your own, and you're able to do it on a daily basis, I think that's when the real joy starts. And I think there are millions of things that we can do, millions of things that we can do. We just actually stuck behind screens, and even on a screen, even on a desktop, there are so many interesting things to do. So yeah, if you find your own comfort space and you start enjoying that, that's the joy that you develop. And then you don't care that you're invited to a party or not, or you don't actually care that, oh my god, there's a new thing happening and I have to be here with my family. You don't care, you just have your thing in your mind. But I'm not telling you that you completely become an introvert. You also have things which are dynamic in your day-to-day life, but few things should be like permanent, static. Yeah.
Okay, so to get into from FOMO to JOMO, we need to have a static life. Static life means doing things that we love and things that we do every
That
day.
are in
Am I
our
right?
control.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
more
yeah.
like stoicism, right? You can only control your emotions or your reaction to certain things. You can control your
Yeah.
actions, your thoughts, but you can't control the weather, you can't control your friend, or you can't control your spouse. All you can control is yourself and how you
Yes.
perceive the world and how you take actions, right?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I said, you have enough to discover about yourself. So I think the real joy only comes from within. So if you spend time with yourself, finding out and doing things like that, I think you are going to be happy. And in the end, what else you want? I think happiness should be the key to anything and everything that we're doing in life.
Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
everything that we do is because we think that thing is going to make us happy. Like we want to be successful because we think that being successful will bring us happiness. We want to make more money because happiness is like the ultimate goal, right?
Yes, yes. It's
Uh,
it's like the mega goal. Yeah.
yes. So let's talk about what we can do to make 2021 a better year, and a year that we find ourselves, the year that we take ourselves seriously.
So first of all, we should actually be grateful to what we have been in the entire year, and no matter howsoever habits we have developed, or howsoever things happened around us, each one of us have changed into a different person. So first of all, it's very important to accept who we have become now, and actually be grateful for that single breath which is keeping you alive. It's very important to accept and embrace whatever we have today in our hands in order to move ahead. Otherwise, there's a thing with negativity, there's a thing with bad vibes. It just keeps on happening again and again. It's like a vicious circle. So I always say this to everyone. It's like my mantra, which I discovered pretty early in my life, that everything happens for good. And like, except death, I have not been, it's like I have always been able to justify that why this has happened. It can be, Around 3 weeks back, I actually was dreaming of getting dream job and stuff like that. I actually woke up 2 weeks all day, all night to clear that, and it did not happen. It just did not happen. And I know I felt bad, and there is a kick that I've got that maybe I have to do this the next time. But I'm still looking at it positively. Maybe it was not perfect for me. Maybe once I was in the job, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I craved at it from the outside. So yeah, so I think first of all we should all accept, then we should be grateful for the breaths that we have today with us, and because not everybody is has been lucky this year. Especially this year saw a lot of people becoming unemployed. Lot of people, lot of people facing uncertainties. I coached people who were not even, who were like, I am with my family, but I'm not happy. No, I want to move out. I want to do this. I want to do this, but I feel like I'm in a shell and I cannot break it. All these feelings are cultivating maybe because of bad media. I don't know. So yeah, so second is to like just take everything which is happening around you, like whatever is happening today or that happened in the past, take it like it happened for a good reason. There must be some bigger power which is making this happen, and just believe in that. And thirdly, I like I said, negativity doesn't stop. Negativity is like a marathoner. It can run as much as you want it to run. So if you can stop the negativity and start being positive about whatever you have, and just not care about the things that you don't have, then it can be a good start. But all these things I think are more like these are not the things which we can, like for example, I can't wake up tomorrow and say I want to be positive. No, I can't wake up tomorrow and say, oh, I have so much thankfulness and gratefulness in this world. No, I can't do that. I have to develop my habits in such a way which makes me feel positive, which gives me some kind of relief, and it has to come naturally, very subtly. So, like I said, I think this is the time when we should actually start meditating. When I say meditation, it should not be like a 40-minute thing. Even if you start doing it 5 minutes a day, and meditation is nothing. People think that, oh my God, I'm so cool, and it's like meditation doesn't suit me. But no, meditation is just making sure that you are breathing, and you can feel your breath. That's it. That too in a quiet environment. So if you can just sit down, just put an alarm for 5 minutes and just breathe, and just breathe, or and also imagine something which gives you some motivation, or something which is positive, and you just breathe and imagine that it's enough. You just do it for 30 days. I'm sure you are going to see changes. So you need to develop habits to survive, not survive, to actually excel 2021. These habits that we learned in 2020 are like I think the like God wanted all of us to come back to the roots, to come back to actually who people were, and that's how 2020 happened. I have always been saying to people whom I mentor that, no matter how modern we become, no matter how techy we become, I think the ultimate balance that we can find in our life will happen only when we start incorporating the old ways of living. Like, earlier there was this habit, after every outside every house there was a tap, or there was a place to wash hands. Then only people would clean themselves, and then only they used to go inside the house. And that's what happened in COVID, right? We don't talk to anyone, we don't touch anyone before we wash our hands, if we come from outside. So we are actually people are enjoying trekking so much. Earlier people, like if I have to invite someone for a party, if I have to go and meet someone, people used to trek for 5 kilometers and go at places. Now that we walk 5,000 steps, it's like an Instagram story. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, maybe go back and read how people kept themselves fit, how people had that mental health in which they were happy, and maybe incorporate that, and also be who you are, and then you will find the right balance. Obviously balance is a perfection, that's not going to happen, but if you thrive to develop the old ways of living into your modern lifestyle, I think this is when those daily habits that will bring you joy will start to come up. You will experience, like, there is a unique set of habits that you would enjoy. For example, I think Shreya, you enjoy journaling a lot, right? People, I think, I have a friend who cannot go away with a morning routine of 30 minutes HIIT workout. She just cannot. She's like, that is the condition I have kept for my future husband. That when I wake up, I want 1 hour for myself, and then only I will look at you. And like, and I'm not joking. This actually happened. So you should find out things that you need, that you want, for your joy and peace. So I think yes, meditating, accepting, being grateful, being positive, and I think somehow I think majority of the people in this world want to be fit. People who are fit, they think they're fat. People who are fat, they think that, maybe how will this that dress look at me when I'm this thin. So there is a const even if you read books of Tony Robbins or people who are like talking about gender stuff, they will give examples of people who are trying to lose weight and the mindset that they have while they lose weight. So I think, in a way, that's like a human problem that's been happening, not a problem, a topic to discuss. Not everybody is happy with how they look. So if we can also incorporate some habit which would give us some daily form of fitness, I think that's also something which can that we should start 2021 on that note. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a perfect guideline that you've shared with all of us. I think it starts with building habits. And what you do every day matters more than what you do once in a year or once in a month. So, habits are going to take you to your goal or to your next destination. I would like to ask you one thing. You mentioned the concept of single breath. Can you elaborate on it?
Okay, so actually that's like an analogy which I used. So mostly people who faced problems medically this year was because of the lung disorder that happens at the first, and then you are diagnosed with COVID. And then I was talking about meditation. So meditation is all about breathing. Then if you even do a strength workout, then also it's in a form breathe in and breathe out. So, and like I said, I don't know if people can imagine it, or maybe I have done it. I think I have imagined a kind of stillness, which I call static, in my life, where I'm at so much peace with myself, just able to breathe normally. Okay, and it's just nice. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't quickly rush to the washroom to brush, or I start talking to my husband, or I do stuff. I just go out in the sun and I just breathe. And as unconscious as it may sound, but I actually could consciously feel my breaths. And I think I am somebody who in general is very grateful for whatever I've experienced in my life. So I'm like ultra grateful. I thank God that I'm alive today and that my all my family is in good health and I'm in good health. So I think, by embracing a single breath, I mean we should actually not take things for granted. There were people who actually faced a lot of breath issues and then they died. A lot of people had lung cancer. A lot of people were not able to say things that they wanted to say to their loved ones because they were kept alone and lonely because of COVID in isolation. But when we have time to express gratitude to our life, when we have time to express gratitude to our loved ones, why not do it today? And I know, as Bollywood or as fiction it may sound, but when you do it, just you should see the expression on the other person's face. I started complimenting my mom so much because of her cooking. Earlier, like, she was a good cook, she is a good cook, but every time when a meal is prepared and I'm like, wow, mom, like, this is like the best curry I have had. And then she was like, and then the happiness that she has, it makes her become it makes her to cook more, which eventually ends up as a fitness problem. But the point is, do small things, and embrace even a single breath, a single friend, a single sleep that you have. So yeah, that's what I meant.
That's such an enlightening thought, and I think I've been trying to reach that space where I don't need anything external, where I am just happy where I am and grateful for what I have. So that's a lovely point. What would you like to tell our audience about getting into that zone? Because sometimes we are anticipating our future, we are stuck in the past. Where can we find that peace right where we are?
Honestly, there is not a way, or a definite pattern in which somebody can do that. It's like a unique thing that you develop, and it starts with finding habits that bring you joy. And just like, for example, I love being in the sun. Like, I actually, people ask me, who are you? If you have to relate yourself with an object in the nature, I always say sun, because all the characteristics that have been of a sun has been in me for a very long time. So I think that you have to find habits that bring you joy, and you have to constantly do it. And more than that, I don't know, I will again go back and say that you have to start meditating. You have to, once you start meditating, and there is a particular form of meditation which I have found, maybe I can share it with you, that can actually, you, like, I have felt all my body parts making me, trying to talk to me. Or and also I have felt like, like, I while my eyes are closed, I'm lying down, I can feel that this is the cell, like, there is a cell in my body which is like roaming around. And I developed it. It took me 3 months. I developed it. I think I started, so in April I was so much haywire, and I was all over my, I couldn't meet friends. It was my birthday month, and we had travel plans, and everything went like nothing. And but from May I tried to get some ground, and I started developing all those habits. So I think stillness or going into the Zen mode, it's not something which I can guarantee anyone can get. And honestly, like I said, I could feel the tingling of cells in my body. I just felt it twice in, like, it's been like more than 6 months now. I just felt it twice. So you really have to focus where you are. You and I so there is a very big devil inside us, the inner critic. That person doesn't stop anytime. I'm sure, I think even you have talked about inner critic in the podcast. So this inner critic, and I kind of had that imposter syndrome, because I started fresh and I was doing things I was happy about, but I wasn't sure if I was perfect or not. So all these things were all the time in my head. Every time I felt amazing after a meditation in the initial weeks, I was like, yeah, maybe everybody feels like this, Uh, maybe it's not different. So what if I meditated for 15 minutes? So what if I did 70 Surya Namaskars? And I was like, okay, it's okay. But honestly, there is no one who will appreciate you more than you could. You should actually give yourself those small rewards. I actually had a reward book in which I mentioned, if I practiced meditation for like fixed 21 days without a gap in between, I'll go and buy those favorite yoga pants which I found on Mintra. I actually wrote stuff like this, while I was trying to lose weight, I actually said that, if I am able to do this, if I'm able to drink this liquid, I'll get a Domino's for me. So and I actually did, and it actually, that importance of that Domino's got so like it just became 4 times. So just find things. I think just spend time with yourself. Just spend time with yourself. I have had like I had a long distance relationship. I have had so many days in my life I was just with myself. I actually went out and watched movies just by myself. Like, I think 4 movies I think I watched. I just booked a ticket for me and I just sat there and I enjoyed. I had popcorn and I came back. I actually went on a lot of solo trips in groups, and I did a lot of trekking also. So I think all these things kind of gave me my comfort space, and I started enjoying that. So maybe give yourself time to discover yourself. That should be like the mantra of 2021.
I love it. I love it. And like you mentioned that you have to give yourself reward. And when I talk about self love, I realize one thing, that you are your own cheerleader and you are your biggest critique. So it's very important which relationship you are going to choose, which relationship you are going to allow, which can guide your life, which direction are you gonna pick up. So if you choose an inner critic, if you focus on the negative side of that whispering, that voice, you won't be able to go any further, because that is a process when we self sabotage, that voice that I'm not good enough, I can't do that. On the other hand, there is a cheerleader side of you, which is cheering you up for every little thing that you are doing. So in case if you don't hear that voice, that's because you have put so much filter on it, you have consumed so much negative content, you have listened to your friends, family, and that voice has been lost in all the confusion. So I think that finding that voice is very important to build that healthy relationship. And Aarti, you mentioned that you've gone out for movies alone and you are enjoying life or at your pace and with yourself. And I think I've been doing this for a long time, because when you're alone, when you're not dating, when you do not have your friends in the same city, you have to do certain things. It doesn't mean that you'll stop living your life, right? So even if you're alone, you can do stuff, you can have fun. And this comes to now we've reached the end of this podcast, where we are going to talk about what does it mean to be your own best friend, what does it mean to do all these things by yourself, and why do you even need to. I think we've already talked about how important it is. No matter if you're single or married, or no matter who you are, you have to cultivate that healthy relationship with yourself, right? So what does it mean, Aarti, to be your own best friend?
Okay, so I want to ask you, what is your ideal definition of a best friend? Tell me. Just don't imagine a person, but if you have to, if God gives you a wish that Shreya, today you can choose a friend, you can choose your best friend. What qualities would you want in him or her? So tell me.
To be very honest, I really don't believe in this best friend concept, because I've had very bad experiences with this. So I call my mom my best friend, because she never judges me. She loves me just the way I am. She is my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, my biggest cheerleader, and I do not hide anything from her. And sometimes I feel like if I tell this to my friend, which are like my age, and they have seen life like I have, I sometimes feel that they might judge me, but my mom will never judge me. So I think my mom is my best friend. And also, when I was in Bangalore, and when we were not spending so much time together, at that time I share a very healthy relationship with myself, because I've had days when I was my biggest enemy. So I'm coming from that dark phase where I was the one person who wanted myself to lose, and I was causing all the trouble that would make it happen, self-fulfilling prophecies. So I was doing all of that. So now I think I'm at that stage where I share a very healthy relationship with myself, and I'm very grateful for the relationship that I share with my mom. So I think I have my best friend, and I think was I able to answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, so actually, you actually answered both the parts. So, like you said, your mother is your best friend, and she never judges you. She's a cheerleader. She's like the perfect person you would want to be. But then, when you were in Bangalore, she wasn't there with you. You have to somehow hold yourself up. You have to somehow treat yourself. You have to be your own cheerleader. So, and I'm not saying this that you cannot tell your mom all the things that are happening in your life, but I guess being millennials, being people of the same age, I feel that there are few things that maybe little few things that you cannot tell your mom. Yeah, and they might not be embarrassing, but you just think that maybe this is not the right time to tell her. जब उनका mood अच्छा होगा, then
Or
I'll
maybe
tell
the
her, or
boundaries.
maybe
You can't tell her that,
yeah.
you
Mhm.
went out on a date and something happened. There are some
Yeah,
boundaries,
yeah, yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. But only you know your complete yourself. We have a lot of guilty pleasures. We have a lot of things that we end up saying, "Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed," and I don't know why did I acted in such a panic way. So when I say you are your best friend, you can actually count upon yourself. And your best friend is only the cheerleader. I'm not talking about the most negative inner critic that's there. No, if you make that thing your best friend, I am sorry, my friend, you actually need someone to get you back. But if you find that cheerleader inside you and make that living thing your best friend, I think you have won this world. There are people like big people, I don't know, lot of celebrities, lot of people who have actually have a way of living, and they did not rely on one person. They did not rely on anybody. They might have coaches, they might have mentors, they might have people, but then in the end, what matters is how do they think about themselves, what do they think they can be. And only like I think today I was reading this book in which I don't exactly know the crux of it, but the first point of becoming a better version of you was raising your standards. And when I say raising your standards, it actually means that, give yourself difficult tasks, give yourself things that maybe people around the world will judge you. For example, let's say if you have 1 million followers and this year you plan to be 50 million, and even if you tell your best friend about this, she might somehow judge you. She's like, oh my God, that's a long pipe dream you're trying. But if you keep it inside you and you work hard for it, obviously by hiding all the limiting beliefs that are around and believe in that vision, then I'm sure it's possible. So I think it's only you who doesn't judge you, because judgment is the biggest thing. Why do people get along? Why do people not get along? They get along with people who actually, who are doing the same mistakes, who are feeling the same things the same way. And I don't get along with people, let's say, who are talking nonsensical things on a very sensitive topic. I don't get along with them. So if I don't, that means I am kind of judging them that, oh my God, how can they even talk like this? This is such a sensitive thing happening in this world, right? So in a way, I'm judging. So I think you are the only person who cannot judge yourself, and you wouldn't have your reasons to do that. And that's how I say that you should make yourself the best friend. And only, like I said, you should develop things that are in your control. This best friend that you make is in your control. You have the full authority over him or her. You have the full relaxation when you want to take a break or stuff like that. So I think being your best friend and making yourself your best friend is like the most important thing. And you can only do that once you start enjoying your own company. Find that happen. Find that voice inside you that makes you that, oh my God, Aarti, I did this. Chalo, I need a pat on my back. Shreya, you actually released this thing before a deadline. Wonderful. Let's go have a coke or have a wine. So you should treat yourself to be in a happy zone with your inner best friend.
I absolutely love that idea and I live by that rule out there. I every day I make sure that I'm following it and it's like my philosophy of living. And you mentioned a very great point here. You mentioned setting standards for yourself. So when we set standards for ourselves, we make sure that people who are not up to the mark, who are negative and who are not treating us right, who are not providing the right kind of value, we let them go. And you can only do that once you
Yeah.
are friends with yourself, because a lot of people are in meaningless relationships, in meaningless friendships, just because they can't stay alone, they need someone to uh, rely on. So because of that, their standard has gone down and they spend time with people who are so bad for their mental health, for their success, for their careers. So setting standard will only happen when you are content and happy with yourself being on your own.
Yes, yes.
I
That's a wonderful point. Actually, when you raise your standard, you actually cut down the things which are not necessary in your life. And then when you focus on the most important things, and you actually, keep it. You actually keep it. You actually find time in your life to maintain that relationship. And that's a priority for you. So, yeah, I think that's a wonderful way to look at it. Yeah, interesting.
Lovely. So, Aarti, last question of the day. What is your mantra for 2021?
I think I actually was talking to myself about this while I was taking bath today. I was just thinking, first of all, I'm going to focus a lot on my fitness. I'm going to focus on a lot on my skin, on because I have had limiting beliefs about myself and I'm trying to break those. So I think I am going to find time this year to focus on that. And most importantly, I am like, I became coach this year. So I am interacting with all kinds of people. So I want to continue doing that. And I just read a post today that if you are, having a fitness journey or you have a fitness goal or if you have any goal, just don't give it a timeline. But because when we give it a timeline and if we are not able to be consistent, we start thinking negative. Just focus on being consistent. If I want to be fit, if I want to have a better skin, if I want to interact with more people, that means if I want to coach more people, I just have to be consistent in my attempt of trying. I only have that consistency with me. I don't have the results with me. So I think my month of 2021 is again embracing everything and just thinking everything is happening for good, but doing very different things. And I think I was not able to travel in 2020. I think I'm going to do that in 2021. Somehow, I think I'm going to maybe go around and find myself in some part of the world and yeah, live it. Yeah,
This is amazing.
that's what
I
I would
hope
say.
you get to do that in 2021. And you mentioned a great point that you are more focused on action driven goals instead of destination driven goals, because when we focus too much on the end point, we start losing our present and we don't enjoy the journey. So that's a lovely way to look at it. Aarti, this has been such a wonderful session. I learned so much, and I think I am going to focus on working on my single breath, because I think I'm always rushing for one thing to another. So, that is going to be my key takeaway from our session today. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Shreya. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shreya. I wish you a very happy new year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.